Let's go over artillery firepower, and particularly the artillery firepower charts. We've seen examples of how the artillery firepower is utilized in the game, but at the same time we haven't had a good comprehensive review of the actual charts. So let's do that. As you can see, we've got the artillery firepower in the upper left hand corner, so don't confuse this with your infantry or small arms firepower chart. They're clearly labeled. Down this left side column you have the different types of cannon, or in particular the different types of cannon and their sub-caliber of shots. Round shot or case / canister. And you have your 3 or 4 pounders with round shot, 3 or 4 pounders with case. Notice they are on separate lines. This is bearing and when you determine how many the number of guns to shoot and what the final percentage is. You have your 6-pound round shot, 6-pound case, your 8 or 9-pound round shot, or 8 and 9-pound case. But also note the word mixed battery. Quite commonly in some of the Republican wars you might actually have a battery which has mixed cannon weights in it. It might have 2 12s, 2 8s, and 2 4-pounders, for instance. So any battery which has got more than one type of cannon weight, or weight of fire by the round shot weight, is considered a mixed battery and automatically uses the mixed battery line. 12 or 16 pounder concludes the remainder of all the field or positional artillery. The next line is actually your siege artillery, 18 pounders, 24 pounders, 36 pounders, whatever. Siege artillery, when it comes down to shooting an infantry or cavalryman, doesn't make any difference what the weight of the shot is. It still has the same effect. If it hits you, you're pretty much gone. And then last but least, we have our small howitzer, case shots or canister shots, and large howitzer, case shots or canister shots. And just so you know the difference between a small and a large, small howitzers come from batteries which are lighter than 12 pounders. In other words, your 8s, your 9 pounders, your 6s, your 4s. A large howitzer comes from a 12 pounder or larger battery. Now, to determine, just like under infantry fire, first you got to determine the type of shot that you're going to shoot. Round shot or case. So let's say we're going to shoot a 3-pound case shot. Then you're going to come out here after determining how many cannon are available in the battery after losses due to combat. You come up, let's say, with an 8-gun battery, which brings you to our box here. And then from there, you're going to come down and find your percentages based upon what class of fire grade the actual battery is. There's a Class A, Class B, or Class C fire. And just like under the infantry, you have your mass target or building, or your linear or open order. Note, there is no minimum or within an inch table for artillery fire. You could be at point blank range, 50 yards, or point blank range, 100 yards. It makes no difference in the game. You base it upon if it's a mass target, or if the target's in a building, or it's linear and open order by default. Again, on our example, 3-pounder case shot, 8 guns, French battery, shooting at a linear target would be 73%. Otherwise, it'd be 110 if it's a mass target. Now, if you get a percentage which is above 100%, that means it's automatically one hit, assuming there's no modifiers for terrain or other effects, and then you have a 10% chance for a secondary loss on the unit. Let's do some other examples. 8-pounder, round shot, 6 guns. French artillery would be 83 or 56, depending upon the target classification. So as you can see, it works very similar to the infantry fire tables. Start with the first box up here on the left, come out to the right, determine how many cannon you have firing, come down and figure out your 2 percentages, and based upon those 2 percentages, determine what the final percentage will be based upon the target classification, and also the firing grade of the firing unit. Cut and dry. Now, just like the infantry, there's also the modifier table, which if I pan the camera off to the left here, off to the right, under the infantry fire table, you have the same group of fire modifiers, except instead of small arms table, you have a round shot column, and a case shot column, and a shell column to utilize or look up your actual modifiers or percentages. So for instance, if you're shooting at a low stone wall, for musketry it's a half effect. For round shot it's only down a quarter. For case shots it's half effect. And for shell fire, it's half effect. And so on. And they're all different things for modification. Exactly the same as infantry. You'd look up on the table and make the determination if there's any modifiers for terrain or the formation type of the enemy, or the ability of the unit that's actually performing the firepower. Because there are a couple of things which actually give you benefits to your firepower. For example, if you have an artillery officer attached, you're going to get up a 5th. If your unit firing grade morale is very high, let's call it like a French Guard artilleryman, like they start with a 9 or a 10 type, they'll again probably be up a 5th. So it's very strong, very likely that you're going to get additional firepower bonuses.